that these amount or this amount of questions have been put forward to the Executive Council.
Question about marriage fancy. That's interesting. I saw that's indeed in the budget. I also, when I asked a question about that sometime, I think that must have been in October or November, when I heard that possibly Mrs. Bunkamper was involved in that deal, and I called her about it, and then about 30 seconds later I got a call from Claudius saying, hey, I have the minutes here of an Executive Council meeting that says that the ExCo has decided to buy it, but in that decision there was a deadline for when the island territory would have to put down a down payment, and that never happened.
Yeah, that's right.
And I talked to Elizabeth Rice and said, I know nothing.
Oh.
So, what's going on there?
Yeah, and well, in fact, your question is actually the question that we posed with respect to the budget. And again, if we look at how things go in government, there are not many opportunities that you get as an opposition to actually question the complete picture of government. That opportunity, which is one of the fundamental rights of an island council, the right to approve the budget for the island territory, and it is in there that when you see these things mentioned, then you have the opportunity to question them. Because otherwise in that, I mean, even in the case of the budget, the government can just do without answering, without explaining. Again, a majority, however that majority is formed, is probably going to approve the budget. But what we are striving for is that in that process, the people of St. Martin get as much information as possible from what government has submitted as its budget.
Apart from the financial aspect, do you see the point of buying Mary's Fancy? Is that a priority, for instance, over buying the Amelia Wilson estate?
You see, and that is the kind of discussion that should be taking place. That is exactly the kind of discussion, because as is evident from especially the statements by members of this government, there are many wishes, things to be done, drag strip to be built, cricket field to be built, promise made when the government coalition signed its accord at the Amelia Wilson estate also, that property would have been safeguarded by government.
Yeah, but they were talking, I noticed that, but they were talking at the time about the park, not about the estate.
But the park is safeguarded. The park is completely separate.
Yeah.
If that's what they were referring to.
That's what they were referring to. I noticed that.
That's another intention to basically pull the wool over the eyes of the people. And so again, those are the kind of discussions, in my opinion, that should be held and looked at the merit and at the feasibility and the resources that you have.
The PCCA, we've now had the law passed on decentralized transfer of tasks. How updated are you, other than from the press? How updated is the Island Council on the whole process? Starting, we can go back as far as June of last year.
It differs for the Island Council.
The PCCA.
Yes, exactly, because the PCCA has not met. I have asked that a meeting of the PCCA be held for all of the members of the Island Council to be brought up to speed to with some of the things that have happened in the constitutional area. Not even the courtesy of an answer with respect to the request to hold a PCCA, so that all members of the Island Council can be brought up to speed on the whole process.
I remember you mentioning in the last Island Council meeting that you would suggest a PCCA.
It has been done.
But you did it also in writing?
Yes, that's right.
Since November, since early December.
In fact, I think before that.
Yeah.
I think it was sometime in November.
Now, we've had, again, a situation in the month of December. We've had 3 murders, the latest one being that of a businessman in general. What are your priorities, or what are you going to be asking for, or maybe even pressing for in these coming weeks? I mean, the population is scared. There is no doubt about it anymore.
Everyone. And It is a known fact that as part of the whole constitutional process,